Hello, how are you? Well, finally, I have been able to upload this class about syntax, okay? We're going to start with a new topic, which is compound sentences. Yes, so far we have been analyzing simple sentences. Now we're going to analyze compound sentences. What are compound sentences? Are sentences that contain two or more coordinated clauses. What is a clause? A clause is a part of a sentence that contains a subject and a verb. Yes, and sometimes only a verb. Yes? So a compound sentence is a sentence that contains two or more coordinated clauses. Yes? There are two ways in which we can coordinate, join complex compound sentences. Yes, allow me to share screen with you so that you can see the PowerPoint that I prepared for this class. Give me a second. I have to change something. There we go. Now it is. Time. There we go. Compound sentences. Okay. So on the one hand, we have coordinated conjunctions, also known as cumulative coordinated conjunctions or coordinators. And then we have subordinating conjunctions or subordinators. Coordinators, they are used to link equal units of equal status in a sentence. Yes, in a compound sentence. The clauses, the two clauses, you remember that a compound sentence is a sentence that has two or more coordinated clauses. So the two clauses are equally important. Yes. The central coordinators, or the most famous ones that we know of, yes, the most commonly used ones are and, or, and but. Yes. Regarding subordinators, well, subordinators introduce subordinate clauses. Yes, I'm reading here the PowerPoint slide. The second part of the sentence depends on the first. So the meaning is subordinated by the subordinator. What are the most well-known subordinators? The ones that appear here. After, although, as, because, before, if, since, and the list goes on. And some subordinators consist of more than one word, like this, except that, as long as, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to see an example of a coordinating conjunction, and then we're going to see an example of a subordinated conjunction, how we should analyze this in a sentence, okay? So for coordinating conjunctions, we're going to put brackets at the beginning of each clause. Yes, we need to identify the clause. The clause, remember, is the subject and the verb, or only a verb. Yes, and it's divided by, in this case, and, which is the cumulative coordinated conjunction. So the first clause is the snake killed the rat. So I'm gonna draw this bracket here and another bracket here. And swallow it is the second clause. Okay, so I draw a bracket here and another one here. And then we analyze each bit separately, okay? We analyze each clause as if they were different sentences. The snake killed the rat. The snake is the subject, kill the rat is the predicate. The snake is the noun phrase, killed is a transitive verb of complete predication, the rat is a noun phrase that functions as the direct object. And yes, I'm going to write CCC, which is cumulative coordinating conjunction. Yes, swallow it. Here we only have a predicate because there is no subject. Swallowed is a transitive verb of complete predication. Yes, and it is the direct object as well of this clause. Yes, so this is how I analyze a compound sentence. Yes, with a cumulative coordinated coordinating conjunction, okay? Now we're going to see an example for subordination. Yes, in subordination, it's important that you pay attention because sometimes there is a predicate inside the predicate because one sentence, one clause depends on the other. The subject is I, yes, and then will visit my aunt if I have time is the predicate. Oops, sorry, it's the predicate, yes. Then we're going to analyze only the first part, yes. Will is the auxiliary verb, visit is the main verb, and it's also a transitive verb of complete predication. My aunt is a noun phrase, yes, and it's the direct object. I will visit who? My aunt, yes. So this is the first clause, yes. I will visit my aunt. Now the second clause is if I have time. So inside this clause, we have another predicate, which is if and have time, and the subject is I. Okay, so when we have subordinating sentences, compound sentences that have that are coordinated by these means, yes, we need to analyze each clause. I will visit my aunt if I have time. Yes, so if I have time is inside the overall predicate because it depends on the first part of the sentence. Yes, in subordination, the sentences, the clauses are not equally important. If I have time depends on the meaning of the first clause. Yes, so I will visit my aunt if I have time. If I have time is the second clause that I have to analyze. Yes. So we're going to split it in if is the predicate, I is the subject, have time is the predicate as well. If is the subordinating conjunction, have is the main verb, and it's also a transitive verb of complete predication, and time is the direct object. All of these, if I have time, functions as an adverbial adjunct of condition. Yes, let me give you a definition of that. Yes, although we are not going to consider that so deeply, yes, this is the function that this clause fulfills. Yes, and adjunct, adverbial or an adverbial adjunct, yes, they can be words, phrases, or clauses that modify an entire clause by providing information about time, place, manner, yes, condition in this case. Yes, so if I have time, it's an adverbial adjunct of condition. That is the function. So far, what I want you to do, yes, before you start panicking, is to identify compound sentences that have cumulative coordinating conjunctions or subordinate conjunctions and try to analyze them to the best of your possibilities. Yes? So in the following slide, I will upload this PowerPoint for you. You have a set of sentences and I will ask you to analyze them. Yes? Then we're going to correct them. If there is a function that you don't know it, you just leave it blank. Just make sure you are able to identify which are subordinating sentences and which are coordinating sentences. Okay? And make sure you put the brackets in the right place. You already know how to identify noun phrases, transitive verbs, direct objects. Yes, I expect you to identify cumulative coordinating conjunctions, the same with subordinating conjunctions, yes, and what comes after that, yes. So if I'm going to also leave a forum open for you, and if you have any questions, you can ask them there, and in a few classes, we're going to correct this sentence, okay? Okay, that was it for today. See you next class.